So first, facial thirds. So his facial thirds are actually very ideal. As we can see, the perfect ones are a 36% lower third, a 33% middle third, 31% upper third. If I could like edit his face, is I would take 1% from the lower and put it to the upper third, because his forehead is a little bit short, but still ideal. His jaw is wide. This is actually very close to the perfect. 88% is the perfect value, 89% well in the ideal range. This is just an ideal total face shape. Lower third proportion, his lip line is perfectly seated on his lower third. His eye spacing is ideal as well. Good eye separation ratio, and they're spaced about one eye apart. This eye separation ratio is actually near perfect for men, so good eye spacing, very important. Almost a perfect mouth to nose width ratio of 1.44. Again, the perfect in men, in most ethnicities of men, is 1.45. So this is a really good ratio. Compact facial width height ratio, again, what we see in all of these higher level faces, they always, every single time, over 1.9. We almost every single one. If you have a 1.9 or more facial width height ratio and a good total face shape, it's an indicator you're going to be very good looking, typically. There's always exceptions, but like especially when we see people nail eye spacing, nail facial width height ratio, nail total face shape, those are very conducive to a very attractive face. 2.2 chin to philtrum ratio. Now this is ideal, though I think it could be a bit more. I think his philtrum could be longer, and I think his chin could be longer, but still ideal. Ideal mid-face ratio. Positive canthal tilt, perfectly ideal. Now here we come to a decent flaw. So his jaw is very steep, very steep. A 79-degree jaw frontal angle. Again, we want this at 90 degrees, ideally. So that would be a fair bit more obtuse than this. And it doesn't harmonize well with his ipsilateral alar angle, which is this angle right here. Has a 12-degree deviation. So his ipsilateral alar angle is actually ideal at around 90 degrees, but then his jaw is just too acute. Good lower to upper lip ratio, and his lips are full as well. So he has medium low set eyebrows. 90. So again, I made this measurement to calculate the low setness of eyebrows based on the mid-face height, and we want this at 90% or more. So this line divided by this line, and I just basically measured around 100 of the most attractive faces for the data for this measurement, and it actually came out to 90% is low set eyebrows. So yeah, his eyebrows could be a little bit lower. We can see they are medium low set. You know, the measurement is pretty accurate. I would categorically say these are medium low set, not low set. Very minor flaw though. He has a very compact eyes, perfectly within that, 2.8 to 3.6 ratio on the upper end, which is more masculine, so good. Now, yeah, his eyebrows, it's a small flaw, but they could be a little bit more upturned. This one specifically is almost neutrally tilted completely, and this one is a little bit more ideal. So, the appearance of flat eyebrows is very aesthetic, but just not this flat. We want a little bit more positive tilt, very minor flaw. Now here we come to an interesting flaw. You don't see this very often. His neck is wider than his jaw, which you just never see this. Yeah, so his neck width is 103% of his bigonial width. It's kind of not the worst problem to have. It's better than a skinny neck. I'd probably trade my neck for his neck, but it does give a little bit of a weird appearance when you just see his neck is wider than his jaw. But I mean, hey, he has a super wide neck, so at least he has that. Next we have bitemporal width, and this is ideal. Very simple measurement. He has high set cheekbones, very high set. Let's go to the side. So yeah, no recession, of course. Here we have his profile is too flat. And this is because he is macrogenic, which simply means his chin is too projected. And we can see his profile is very flat. His frontal bone is also very projected as well. And it just leads us to this very flat profile, which is not ideal. This one, again, a little bit too flat. This one a little bit too flat again. Ideal. Nasolabial is good. He does pass this rickety line. See, again, he fails the H line because we want that the chin is just too projected once more. So, if the chin was right here, he would pass the H line. Really, it's macrogenic in proportion. Really, we could just have this lip come forward as well, and that would kind of make the issue a bit better. Again, the lip assessments are just going to be failed because of the macrogenia. Good gonal angle though, ideal. Mandibular plane angle is a bit steep from natural head position, but not a big deal. Ideal. This is again, so this is all these flaws are basically lending themselves from the chin being a bit too projected basically. His nasofrontal angle is perfectly ideal, very masculine brow ridge. Again, this angle is messed up from the chin. When you have a flaw like this, it compounds. Like you're going to get deducted in a lot of measurements when you have a huge flaw like that. Not huge, but notable. Good nasal projection, good nasal width to height, neutral orbital vector. His brow ridge inclination angle is ideal. Nasal tip angle is a little bit too acute, not a big deal though. And his ramus to mandible, it was hard to measure this one with his jaw is weird, I'll be honest, but it's ideal. And his gonian is ideal. His gonian is below his mouth line. So yeah, that was all the facial harmony measurements. He came up with an 89% frontal score, which is really great, and a 76% side harmony score with an overall harmony score of 82%. So this is top tier facial harmony, comparable to many other top faces. It's like comparable to Sean O'Brien's facial harmony, right? And of course, harmony is not everything. It's just one factor. Now, I devised a rarity estimation distribution based on the standard deviation of harmony. So I would estimate his overall harmony is about the best out of 1,000 men, and that his front harmony in isolation, just the score of 89%, is the best out of 25,000 people. So his face, his frontal profile is definitely the most harmonious out of tens of thousands of men, 100%, just in proportion. Now, facial angularity, this is his biggest flaw. So I gave him a 6.5 out of 10 based on assessing to my chart. And his front is not bad. You could argue his front is like, in terms of just angularity, because again, he doesn't have the most bones or jaw mass, but 7. Like there is some zygote definition and it's generally good lean jawline visibility. But in his side, we are just lacking segmental definition, lacking gonian definition. We're just lacking that definition. So it's still a more ordinary facial angularity score for him. And this is very consistent throughout most of his pictures. He never had a super angular face. His sexual dimorphism, on the other hand, is actually higher than his harmony. And this is essentially how masculine or feminine is he. So he got a score of 8.4 out of 10, very high. The main deductors is the chin shape. It's just simply not very square at all. The mild upper eyelid exposure, and then the very narrow jaw frontal angle. Those were the deductions. Still very masculine, very good score. A lot about his face is very good, especially from the front. And then we have miscellaneous features. So here you got a score of 7.5, which is still good, but there were a fair bit of just mild deductions here. So he has flared ears, slight upper eyelid exposure, slight under eye bags, a slight dorsal hump, and again, the poor chin shape. So a few things to deduct him here that kind of compounded, but regardless, still a good score. Very good. So the overall score, it's 7.75 out of 10. So the best face out of, it's really hard to estimate, but the best face out of thousands of men in terms of attractiveness. So, when this guy walks in a room, he would, in his prime, have been notably very good looking. Like he stands out as a model. So this is the guy was the best looking at his high school out of thousands of people type of vibe. I would give the estimated rarity range is just an estimation. It's really hard to estimate this stuff, guys. But I would predict he's the best looking out of closer to the 3,000 to 5,000 guy range, and among men in their 20s. I think he's the best out of thousands for sure. So at least a top 0.1% face. And a 7.75, this puts him a deviation above someone like Cillian Murphy. Right, he was more at that 7 to 7.25 range. He's a deviation above that in rarity and attractiveness. So 8.3 harmony, 6.5 angularity, 8.4 dimorphism, 7.5 features. His exact score is a 7.7. Very good score. So yeah, very good looking model tier looks. Visually, I would have rated Marlon a 7.5 to 7.75, so I agree with the math. And yeah, more towards the 7.75. It's actually exactly what I rated him before I did it, and it came out to the same thing. So it's interesting, the more you do this, you will have a pretty good gauge at what someone will score. I did not expect his frontal harmony to be that high though, I will say that. Best and worst features. So full lips is great, skin quality, eyes as a whole, beard density, and squared masculine hairline. The worst things is, of course, the chin being a little bit over projected. The ramus is a bit rounded and downgrown. Slight upper eyelid exposure, flared ears, and the mandible body is narrow, with that jaw frontal angle being very acute. Now, these are going to be some things he could theoretically do to improve. Does he need any of them? No. Just kind of showing some concepts. So here down here, you can kind of see the concept of the chin corrected and the nose corrected. It's just a rough concept, but you can see those changes, right? And also the ramus being a bit less, down. So it does have a lot of issues, such as the rounded godians, the narrow mandible body, and an over projected chin. He could consider counterclockwise rotation double jaw surgery with a genioplasty to reposition and reduce the chin. Now this is theoretical. Should he do this? No. I hate the soy people in my comments. Just saying theoretically this would improve his looks. Jaw angle implants. As you can see here in this concept I made, the jaw could just have more robust gonians. The jaw is wide in proportion to his cheekbones, but as you can see, the gonians are just simply not robust like they are over here. This looks much better. And this would also improve the ramus visibility and gonian visibility from the side profile. Like if he actually wanted to actually cap out his looks, I don't think I would do the Bimax. I think I actually would do the jaw angle implants in his case though. Again, yeah, conservative rhinoplasty. As we can see, it just has that mild dorsal hump. It could just be straightened out. Actually, I would honestly consider this if I was him. Not even kidding. Very simple. And then, yeah, some more upper eyelid fat transfer. We can see kind of the fat grafting result right here. Very good result. And he has a little bit of asymmetry. Like this eye's upper eyelid exposure is far more ideal than this one. So just a bit more fat above his eyes to kind of balance it out. Also below the eyes as well. So yeah, this is a very rough edit, but we can kind of see what I'm getting at, right? If he just had this more gonian definition and it was as wide as his neck, it would in theory look better. Of course, I just made this rough in the liquify tool on Photoshop. But yeah, you can kind of see what I'm getting at. So yeah, if you want literally everything I just did, this entire report, but for your face, you can click the first link down below. I give you a full score, harmony score, break down every single part of your face, give you custom advice based on what I see. So, if I see, oh, your facial convexity is bad, you don't meet the lip assessments, counterclockwise double jaw surgery would help you, blah, blah, blah. I'll also give you things that don't require surgery that you can do based on what we see with the data. The beauty of this report is that all of the advice I will give you is based on data. We literally create a data sheet of everything about your face. All of your features, your dimorphism, your angularity, your harmony, right? So this is harmony. We just go through everything, and then once we have the data, we can correct every single thing about your face. Literally everything that's possible. So yeah, if you're interested, you can book your report down below. There's also some cheaper options. Just click the first link down below in the description if you are interested. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Let me know who I should analyze next. Maybe a subscriber series, whatever. Let me know in the comments below. Peace.